Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. Today I am so excited to be filming my concealer showdown video for you guys. So a ton of drugstore brands have put out what they think is like their full coverage, crease proof kind of concealers recently. L'Oreal has put out one, Milani, NYX, Revlon, e.l.f., Covergirl. I mean, a ton of new concealers have just hit the market, and I am really excited to compare them for you guys today, share shade range, price, what I think of each one, how it wears, all of that good stuff. So if you are interested in this video, then just keep watching. Alrighty, friends. So I do have my phone here with my notes pulled up because I have been keeping track of like so many different things about these concealers because I really wanted this video to be thorough, so it could just be like a one-stop shop of, okay, which one is going to be best for me. Now, I personally have my favorites in this like little collection I have here, but I also don't want this to be an opinion video. I want it to be something where you guys can come here and say, okay, which one is best for me and my skin type and what I'm looking for. So I hope this is helpful. Let's go ahead and start off with L'Oreal. So they released their Infallible Full Wear More Than Concealer. You can now find this on Ulta's website, which I'm super pumped about. I talked about this in my most recent dupes video. It was compared to the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer, and I think that this is a total dupe. So it comes in 25 shades, and it's $12.99 on Ulta's website. And I do have the shade Light Beige, and I will say that this is a little like pinky, kind of orangey undertone, if you will. It's not warm in the sense that it's yellow, it's more warm in the sense that it's orangish. So just beware of that, but to be honest with you, this is a pretty good like skin tone match for me, just a little bit warmer. This is full coverage, it's hydrating, it doesn't look cakey at all on the skin, and I like this with a brush or a sponge. I do feel like the brush kind of maybe gives a little bit more coverage, but the sponge does help it be just a hair more hydrating than it already is. This is not a concealer that I would look at and be like, oh, that is when I just want a full glam look. This can be used for every day, or it can be used for full glam. I feel like it's more of like a buildable full coverage. Like if you just do a little bit, you can easily just get like a medium coverage, but if you want it to be full, it's super easy to do that without it looking really cakey and dry under the eyes. So personally, I really do enjoy this one. I think it's great for every day or for a more dressed up look. So that is why I love it. Okay, the next one I also showed in a recent video, and it was in the Get Ready With Me that I did, and this is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. So this one is $5, and it comes in 18 shades. 10 of them, though, are online only on Ulta's website. So that's kind of a drawback. A lot of the shades that are not online only are really fair toned. So I think there's maybe like one medium that's not, but 10 out of the 8 are online only shades. And the one that I have is an online only one, and it is the shade Light Beige again. And this one is significantly different than the Light Beige shade of the L'Oreal. This one is very yellow toned. Now, I will say though that it doesn't blend out to look really yellow when you set it with a more like just skin tone type of powder. So I wouldn't pair this though with like a banana powder because I think it would just look way too yellow for my skin tone. But if you do have a warm undertone and you like a more yellow concealer, I think that this one would be really good for you. It also comes with a really fat doe foot, which is kind of what everyone is doing nowadays. Now, I will say that this is a drier formula. It's definitely a little bit thicker, a little bit drier. In that Get Ready With Me, I talked about how this does remind me of Shape Tape as far as the thickness and the coverage, but it's definitely not as dry as Shape Tape. I think it has a little bit more moisture, not much, but just a little bit more to where I actually like this one better than Tarte Shape Tape. But the coverage on this is insane, you guys. It is so full coverage to where I like to use it under the eyes, and I really love this for breakouts just because of how full coverage it is. It really just like covers them and conceals them so beautifully. So I really do prefer to use this one with a sponge, especially if I'm going to use it under the eyes, just because I do think that it helps kind of thin out the formula a little bit and absorb some of it to where it doesn't look too cakey under the eyes. With a brush, I just feel like this one can look a little too thick under the eyes. I think with the sponge, it just applies beautifully and seamlessly. So this one is really good if you want a full coverage concealer. Like this one, I wouldn't even say you can make this like medium coverage. Like this is just full. Like no matter how much you use of it, it's full coverage. So just be aware of that. Okay, now this next one is new, but it's not necessarily the newest product on the market, but it is a relatively new release from Revlon, and so I wanted to throw it in this video. I did do a first impressions on this, the foundation, and the powder, so I'll link that if you guys are interested, but it is the Candid Concealer. So this is a newer release, so I wanted to incorporate it into this video because maybe you guys haven't tried it yet. I do have the shade Vanilla, and it does come in 15 different shades, and it's $9.99 on Ulta's website, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is at Walgreens as well. This shade is a great neutral shade. It's not too yellow, it's not too pink, it's not too gray, it's beautiful. It's a really good, just neutral shade, and for my skin tone, it's beautiful because it's really brightening without being like too stark white. And I really do like the doe foot on here. I think it's a unique doe foot. It's kind of like a fat teardrop shape, and it's like a squeezy tube. So I think the packaging is just kind of unique in and of itself. Now I will say that this is probably the most hydrating one I'm going to be talking about, but it's not in the sense that it looks dewy or like there's shimmer in there or anything like that. This just like feels good when you put it on. It feels almost cooling, and it just looks really hydrating under the eyes. I will say this is medium buildable to full, more so medium than anything else though, to be honest, and it just looks so seamless under the eyes. I love it with a sponge or with a brush. I don't really notice a difference honestly between the two. And it's just a great kind of like everyday concealer. You know, it brightens under the eyes, it conceals what I want, and it doesn't look too cakey or too heavy. So I think just for every day, this one is beautiful. Okay, now the next one is personally one that I do not like at all. But I did want to throw it in this video because it is a newer release and I wanted to share my thoughts with you guys. And it is the Covergirl Simply Ageless Instant Fixed Advanced Concealer. That's a long name. Now, this is not full coverage and it doesn't really claim to be. It only comes in 6 shades, and it is, I paid $16.99 for this at CVS. And the only reason that I bought it for that much is because I had so many extra bucks in a coupon that I didn't actually pay $16.99 for it, but that's how much it originally was. So if I would not have bought this full price at all, even if it was the best concealer ever. Okay, maybe if it was the best concealer ever, after watching reviews I would go buy it, but I would never spend $16.99 just to try something out. I think that no. But again, I had coupons and I had extra bucks, so I bought it. Now, this is the shade Fair. It's a good neutral tone. It's not too light, it's not too dark, it's not too yellow, too pink, none of that. It has like a little ball on the end with a hole that the product comes out of. And this is an interesting one because I think I went into this thinking, okay, Simply Ageless, right? It's going to be hydrating, it's probably going to cover a little bit, but I really think that this is going to be a dewy finish. And maybe that was just what I went into because of the ageless kind of claim. Typically, like ageless type of products are more hydrating. This is not. This is actually kind of drying, to be honest with you. And this has like hardly any coverage. It's like I can draw this on so many times and try to build it up, and no matter what, with a brush or with a sponge, it just like goes away. It's like my skin just eats it. I don't even understand what is going on. So it just is like a no across the board. It's no on price, it's no on shade range, it's no on the way it looks, it's no on the way it blends, it's no on the coverage, like everything. So I really just don't like this. And for me, I'm like trying to think about, okay, who would this be good for? Maybe if you have really oily under eyes and you want no coverage, hardly at all, this would be good for you. But other than that, I don't really see me recommending this to anyone. Okay, next, NYX put out their Can't Stop, Won't Stop concealer. So I did do a full first impressions wear test on the primer and the foundation when it was released, but the concealer wasn't out yet, so I'm now excited that I have this. I did get the shade Vanilla, and it's a little bit yellow, but not too yellow, definitely not as yellow as the e.l.f. one. This comes in 24 shades, and it's $8.49 on Ulta's website. This, I really like the doe foot. It kind of reminds me of the Flower Beauty one, where it's like a skinnier doe foot that kind of has like a point to it. I will say that this is a drier formula. Now it's not super drying, but it does have a little bit more like thickness and dryness to it than, let's say, like the L'Oreal one or the Milani one I'm going to talk about next. It's got a little bit of tug when you use it, but nothing crazy. I will say that this is full coverage. I really do enjoy this concealer a lot. I don't think it's too thick, especially when you use it with a beauty sponge. I don't really like to use this with a brush just because it is a little bit thicker, a little bit drier, just like a heavier formula. But with a sponge, it blends out really well and it is really full coverage. So if that's something that you're into, I think you'll love this. Okay, last but not least, I want to talk about the newest concealer from Milani. So this is their Conceal and Perfect Long Wear Concealer. I did get the shade Nude Ivory. It's a great neutral tone, not too yellow, not too cool. It's a great neutral tone, which I do think is how they described it on the website. So I appreciate that what they described and what I got is the exact same. This is $8.99 on Milani's website, and it does come in 18 different shades. And I think it's going to be available in Walmart stores soon. I'm not sure if it's a Walmart exclusive or it's just if it's rolling out there first. I don't know. But it is on the Milani website if you're interested. And for some reason, I signed up, like when I went to order this, I signed up for like text like alerts or whatever, and I ended up getting free shipping. So, because I think shipping was like 16 bucks, or I think shipping was like $6, and so it was almost as much as the concealer, and I was like, well, that's stupid. But then it was like, sign up for text alerts and get free shipping, so I was like, okay, so I ended up getting this for $8.99 and just shipped. So if that's still up on the website, definitely take advantage of that. But I will say that I really like the doe foot on here. It's a great like paddle style, and I really enjoy this concealer, you guys. It is so good. So I love it because it's like that full coverage look, but it feels so light on the skin. So to be honest with you, this one and the L'Oreal are kind of my favorite. Now, I would say this feels like a little bit more like gel-like than the L'Oreal. The L'Oreal is more creamy. This one's a little bit lighter of like a consistency, but I feel like I get the coverage of like the NYX or the e.l.f. with this product. So I really like it because it's like I get that full coverage look, but not necessarily the thick feel on the skin. And it's just a really great concealer. It's definitely different than what I thought. I thought it was going to be like thicker and creamier. And to be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of the Conceal and Perfect foundation. And I didn't even buy the new stick foundation because I'm so over stick foundations. I never really liked them, so I'm just done wasting my money on them. But I don't know why. I just thought it was going to be thicker, and it definitely feels a lot lighter than what I originally thought. And you do get a little bit of creasing with this. I think it's just because it's a thinner formula. It's a little bit more kind of like gel-like, that it just sinks into fine lines a little bit faster under the eyes. But I tap them out and I, you know, set the under eye, and it's fine. It's nothing to like freak out over. It's okay. But I really do just like this. I like the way it feels, I like the way it wears, and I totally think it's a hit. Okay guys, so that is it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. I really tried to give you guys all of the information as well as my opinions on these different concealers, because there's just so much been released lately. I just feel like concealer-wise, everyone's trying to get, you know, their full coverage concealer out, that I just wanted to break it down for you guys. So if you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!